With the highly anticipated Chinese Grand Prix just days away, Red Bull has finally responded to McLaren's growing dominance with a series of major upgrades to the RB21. Determined to reclaim their advantage, the reigning champions have introduced sweeping aerodynamic and power unit enhancements aimed at matching McLaren's blistering pace. Meanwhile, the F1 driver market is heating up as Daniel Ricciardo has been confirmed as the strongest candidate to join Cadillac's 2026 Formula One lineup. With the American manufacturer making its debut on the grid, Ricciardo's experience and marketability make him a prime target for the team as they look to make an impact in the sport. Let's discuss, and stay tuned until the end. As the Formula One paddock gears up for the Chinese Grand Prix this weekend, Red Bull Racing has finally unveiled a series of significant upgrades aimed at closing the performance gap to McLaren. The reigning champions have found themselves trailing behind the Woking-based team, which has emerged as the benchmark in the early stages of the 2025 season. Despite boasting four-time world champion Max Verstappen alongside rising talent Liam Lawson, Red Bull has struggled to match McLaren's outright pace. The British outfit dominated preseason testing in Bahrain and reinforced its credentials with a commanding performance in Australia, where Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri locked out the front row of the grid, leaving Verstappen 3/10 adrift. On race day, McLaren's superiority was further evident. Norris and Piastri steadily pulled away from Verstappen as Red Bull's intermediate tires degraded faster than expected. A mid-race spin from Piastri gave Verstappen a fighting chance, allowing him to salvage a second-place finish behind Norris. However, the gap in outright performance was undeniable. Meanwhile, Liam Lawson endured a disastrous weekend, crashing out and leaving Red Bull with more questions. Helmut Marko, Red Bull's motorsport advisor, pinpointed tire degradation as the primary weakness holding the team back against McLaren. While the RB21 has shown glimpses of promise, it has struggled to sustain its pace over longer stints. "We knew from Bahrain testing that McLaren had a slight edge over us," Marko told media. "We have managed to cut their advantage down from half a second to about 2 or 3/10. We can keep up with them for the first 6 to 8 laps, but then our tire degradation sets in much earlier." Marko acknowledged that other minor issues have also contributed to Red Bull's struggles, but remained optimistic that the team's latest upgrade package could be a game-changer. "This is our main issue, along with a few other factors. But we are aware of them, and the team is working hard. Hopefully, within the next 3 to 5 races, we can overcome these problems and have a car that is truly on par with McLaren." While Red Bull is determined to claw back performance in the immediate term, it faces a tight window to do so. With the radical 2026 regulation changes on the horizon, the team must carefully balance its resources between developing the current RB21 and preparing for the future. Finding the right equilibrium is easier said than done. Red Bull faced a similar challenge last year and initially pursued the wrong development path, only managing to correct course late in the season. The team now finds itself under increasing pressure to avoid a repeat scenario. However, team principal Christian Horner remains confident that Red Bull is now on a much more stable footing compared to last season. He believes that fine-tuning the car's aerodynamic balance in upcoming races will naturally mitigate some of the tire wear concerns. Yes, when you have a well-balanced car, the entire picture changes. The characteristics of this car are much more predictable compared to the RB20. We're not experiencing the same violent oscillations and inconsistencies, which gives us a strong and dynamic platform to develop the car throughout the season. With the Chinese Grand Prix marking a crucial turning point in the campaign, Red Bull will be under the microscope as they debut their much-anticipated upgrades. Meanwhile, Daniel Ricciardo emerges as the leading candidate for Cadillac F1's 2026 lineup. With the official confirmation that Cadillac F1 has secured approval to join the Formula One grid in 2026, speculation is mounting over who will spearhead the American outfit's inaugural campaign. Among the many names linked to the team, one driver has emerged as the strongest candidate, Daniel Ricciardo. The Australian, who has long been a fan favorite in the paddock, is reportedly Cadillac's preferred option to bring experience and leadership to the fledgling project. After his abrupt departure from Racing Bulls midway through the 2024 season, Ricciardo's future in F1 appeared uncertain. However, with Cadillac's entry now secured, a return to the grid for the charismatic driver is looking increasingly likely. Cadillac's approach to its 2026 entry is clear. They want a combination of proven experience and American representation in their driver lineup. The brand's entry into F1, in partnership with Andretti Global, has already faced resistance from established teams, making the choice of drivers even more critical in proving their competitiveness from the outset. Ricciardo, a multiple-time Grand Prix winner, fits the bill for an experienced driver who can not only develop the car but also provide valuable feedback to engineers as the team navigates its rookie season. His marketability and infectious personality are additional assets, particularly for a team looking to establish a strong brand identity on and off the track. Several factors strengthen Ricciardo's candidacy for the Cadillac seat. Firstly, his deep understanding of Formula One's technical evolution. Having driven for top teams such as Red Bull and McLaren, makes him an ideal choice for a new entrant that will need every ounce of experience to establish itself. Secondly, despite his Australian nationality, Ricciardo has a strong affinity with the American market. His love for the country, evidenced by his frequent visits, cowboy hat celebrations, and admiration for American culture, makes him a commercially attractive prospect for Cadillac, which is deeply rooted in North American motorsport history. Moreover, with F1's growing popularity in the United States, having a driver with strong connections to the region could further elevate Cadillac's profile in the sport. While Ricciardo is the leading candidate, he is not the only name in contention. Cadillac is expected to consider several options before finalizing its lineup. Among the other potential candidates are current IndyCar stars such as Colton Herta and Alex Palou, both of whom have been linked to a future F1 drive. However, their lack of direct F1 experience could be a stumbling block for a new team aiming for a competitive debut. Additionally, former F1 drivers like Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez remain available for 2026, and both bring significant experience. However, Ricciardo's broader appeal and race-winning pedigree give him an edge over these options. For Ricciardo, a move to Cadillac could offer a shot at redemption after a turbulent few years in F1. Since leaving Red Bull at the end of 2018, his stints at Renault, McLaren, and Racing Bulls have been marked by inconsistency. His exit from Racing Bulls in 2024 was particularly bitter, as he failed to reclaim his once-coveted Red Bull seat. However, a fresh start with Cadillac could reignite his career, providing him with the opportunity to build a team around himself and play a fundamental role in its development, much like Fernando Alonso did at Alpine and Aston Martin. The project's long-term potential, combined with Ricciardo's vast experience, could create a mutually beneficial partnership. With 2026 still on the horizon, Cadillac is expected to take its time in making a final decision. The team's choice will depend on a range of factors, including performance trends in 2025, contractual obligations, and super license requirements for younger prospects. If Ricciardo does sign with Cadillac, it will mark one of the most intriguing comebacks in recent F1 history.